Tonight on the Night Team. A push for the Floyd County Sheriff's Office to have body-worn cameras.
The community needs to know, and I feel like a lot of them aren't aware.
How jury duty pushed a Floyd County woman to start this push for change. Plus, on patrol, LMPD is out in full force along Bardstown Road this weekend, hoping to prevent a street takeover for a third weekend in a row.
So far for the night, things are going very well. So we're prepared for this. We have numerous officers staged along the corridor here in the surrounding neighborhoods, in marked cars and unmarked cars.
And later,
and we're out here collecting for Crusade for Children. It's a great cause. Doing it all for the kids.
It's the 72nd annual WHAS Crusade for Children, how you can help change a child's life. Right now on the WHAS11 Night Team. A Floyd County woman is now urging the county sheriff's office to mandate body-worn cameras. Floyd County Sheriff is saying it's not a matter of whether they want the new technology. It all comes down to cost. Thanks for joining us here on the Night Team. I'm Alex Dieterer. A petition with over 100 signatures shows some believe it's an investment worth making. WHAS 11 Night Team's Clarice Shaley shows us both sides of the argument.
That was like our first question amongst each other, like, why don't they have body cameras?
A surprising fact Joy Schindler learned when she was a juror for a recent local case.
We just assume everybody had body cameras.
The Floyd County Sheriff's Office does not have body-worn cameras for their officers.
And it was a big point in that case that they didn't have them, and if they had the body cameras, it wouldn't have gone to trial and been costly.
She's now pushing for change and started a petition to call for the mandate of this equipment. The petition reads in part, quote, "Currently without video evidence, the cases proceed to courtrooms where state prosecutors and public defenders expend significant time and resources."
We also asked the officer why they don't have cameras. And he said that he doesn't know why they have cameras, but there isn't an officer on the force that doesn't want them.
I think majority of the people want them, and that's kind of where we're at. I'm for it.
The Floyd County Sheriff's Office is looking into getting body cameras. They just had a meeting with a company called Axon this past week to look at models as they start the process.
It's just a matter of funding, quite frankly.
The equipment has been a part of the conversation since Sheriff Steve Bush started in 2023. They want to focus on getting the cameras for their deputies and correctional officers. But Sheriff Bush says this is an investment that's not in their current budget.
You have a startup cost, which is several $100,000, and then you have an annual cost, which is probably anywhere from $120,000, $150,000. We're just not sure yet.
It seems like there was federal programs that they could have gotten grants for, and the cost of a trial is pretty expensive, and these body cameras aren't very expensive.
Bush says they do plan to look for grants to cover the cost and are looking at the policy, training, and testing that comes with implementing this technology. He says the department might have the cameras this fall. In New Albany, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
The New Albany Police Department has had body cameras since 2023, and they told WHAS 11 that the cameras have been very useful for the agency. There was also an effort in 2021 on the state level to require body cameras for every law enforcement agency in Indiana, but the bill never passed committee. Mayor Craig Greenberg honored victims of gun violence in Louisville tonight. The mayor joined Moms Demand Action for Wear Orange Day. Wear Orange Day was first started to remember 15-year-old Hadia Pendleton, who was shot and killed in Chicago back in 2013. Organizers tell us this group helps families take back their stories while giving back to the community.
It makes us, it empowers me. I'm gonna speak for me. I don't know if it empowers them, but it's giving us a voice, and we're able to put action behind everything. So it empowers us.
Shootings in Louisville continue to trend downward year after year. There have been 129 shooting incidents this year alone, but that's down almost 32% from this time last year. Over the last 5 years, shootings have gone down over 61%. Several buildings tonight are lit orange in honor of the survivors and remembering the victims of gun violence here in Louisville. The Bardstown Road takeover, this time it's by Metro Police. LMPD is out in full force this weekend trying to prevent this scene for a third weekend in a row. After a meeting with business owners just this week, Metro Police promised to be up and down Bardstown Road in large numbers. Even Police Chief Paul Humphrey was out patrolling the streets. Metro Police staged both marked and unmarked patrol cars around the area. Officers were out talking to people and creating barricades, and we spoke with Division Commander Lieutenant Mason Brown live on the WHAS11 night team just last night.
So like I said, we're staged along the Baxter and Broadway corridor, Baxter and Bardstown corridor. We have numerous officers and marked vehicles for our presence. We also have numerous officers in a plain clothes manner to ready to respond to any of the side streets or on the main corridor itself.
LMPD is back out again tonight. They started staging and had patrols out by 6 tonight. They'll once again be out until 4 a.m. when the bars close. The Trump administration's aggressive deportation efforts are sparking fear and outrage across the country. Angry crowds are clashing with law enforcement in Los Angeles and in New York amid a series of ICE raids. Here's ABC's Dave Packer with the details.
Angry crowds clashing with law enforcement in Los Angeles for a second day following immigration raids that have drawn criticism from local and community leaders.
You cannot just come into the community and terrorize citizens the way you did.
Chaos erupting after this ICE raid in the city of Paramount. Footage from above shows protesters blocking a bus carrying officers. Border Patrol personnel in riot gear and gas masks deploying tear gas in an effort to disperse the crowd. The FBI sharing this video, asking for help in identifying this individual seen throwing rocks at vehicles leaving the protest area. And in New York, similar protests outside the federal courthouse in Manhattan.
I'm hoping that, the entire policy changes. I'm hoping that the attitude towards the migrants changes.
Federal agents are now arresting migrants at immigration courts, in some cases after the deportation cases have been dismissed. This man says he's been in the courtroom during some of these immigration proceedings.
The Department of Homeland Security lawyers are persuading immigration judges to close their applications for asylum without due process. And ICE is grabbing these people. ICE is kidnapping these people before they have a chance to file an appeal.
The Department of Homeland Security calling for an end to the violence against ICE officers who claim they're facing a 413% increase in assaults when carrying out arrests. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks confirming Saturday afternoon that several arrests have been made for alleged assaults on federal agents. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem saying, if you lay a hand on a law enforcement officer, you'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
Here at home, protesters from across southern Indiana gathered outside the Clark County Jail earlier this week, making their voices heard on immigration policies. The jail is currently holding nearly 100 detainees for ICE. Two women organized the protest, arguing that the Trump administration is not following the Constitution. However, officials with the White House argue the U.S. is being invaded by violent gang members. In a statement, the Clark County Sheriff's Office wrote, quote, detainees are provided access to legal resources and materials relevant to their individual immigration circumstances. Video court and attorney visits are conducted daily with our immigration detainees, adding that ICE inspects the jail weekly and that the jail still has extra beds. Well, it's officially June, and that marks Pride Month. Southern Indiana is starting Pride right at the Big Four Station Park. WHAS 11 night team photojournalist Aspen Hester takes us to the Southern Indiana Pride Festival.
Pride, 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 Pride. Oh, we're at Pride.
Today we're at the Southern Indiana Pride, honey. Yes.
You ready to see some drag?
I love being able to be part of the community and showing up for my friends and my family and my loved ones.
The community, I've seen people I know and I've met people I don't know. And everybody's been so friendly.
Because you can show up in your full authentic self. No restraints, just fully be accepted for who you are. Nobody questions anything. It's a beautiful thing to be able to shine in your full authenticity.
I'm just here to support others and show my lesbian pride. I got some chicken tenders.
So being able to have small towns say, we see you, we love you, we accept you, is so helpful in, like, not just helping queer people feel accepted, but especially helping queer youth feel accepted.
There are people in small towns that need to be appreciated and accepted for who they are. even if it's a small community. We come from everywhere.
Because they live here. This is their home, and people should support them.
It's just really inspiring to see like how many people on this side of the river are LGBTQ+, and it makes me feel less alone, and I'm sure other people too.
Pride means full acceptance of who I am, and not just acceptance, but getting out in the community and really celebrating the community and my own identity.
We as a community, we thrive when we work together and we're connected as individuals.
Pride to me means just being you, regardless of what anyone else thinks.
This was the 8th Southern Indiana Pride Festival.